So the last thing we need to do for this series is add some type to our illustration, and that's going to be pretty easy. So the way we do that is using our type tool. That's going to be about 3/4 of the way down your toolbar, and we just want to use the standard horizontal type tool, and we'll just click and start typing. Oh, and if you look, I've recently used some really big type in here. Um, so let's just go ahead and change that down to something that might be a little more reasonable. Um, let's start off with 48 points. And the copy in this instance says 65 degrees. Now that's Option Shift 8 for the degree symbol, north, right? And I think I used a slightly different typeface, but it doesn't really matter. So, I'm not going to judge you based on or grade you based on the typeface you use. Just something nice and big and blocky, right? So you can see that this is probably a little bit too big, and there are all sorts of ways we can get this to be smaller. We could transform the layer with the command T, and oh, we need to select the layer first. Select the layer, command T, and then we can scale it down until it gets to be about the right size. And that would be one way to go. I'll undo that. Or we could go down here and edit it like we would in a word processing document. And we select it, and then we can come down here and select the type size and use our down arrows to subtract from the type size and get that down to something we like. Once we do, we can use those cursor tools, select the layer and use the cursor keys to move it into position, and something like that would probably work just fine. And now all we need to do is colorize this 65 degrees north, or the 65 degrees part. So the way we do that is we go back to our type tool, come in here and just select that, and under properties, you can see that we're working with type and we have all these type characteristics. We can also adjust the color here. So if we click on that, that launches our color picker. So we could select a color from here, but if we move our cursor off of the color picker, you can see that it changes to an eyedropper. So that allows us to sample a color from our illustration. So I'm going to sample a nice gold green out of the locking thing from the carabiner. So I'll do that, and you can see that I get the value up there. And if it looks the way I want it to, I hit OK. So there we go. And once everything is deselected, you can see that we're done here. So moving up from bottom to top, we have our original background layer. We have a copy of it flipped. We have the climber layer in here, and we have a layer mask with a gradient blend to connect these two layers. Then we have a color adjustment layer. In that color adjustment layer, we have to remember the blending mode is set to color, otherwise it'll just look a little odd. And we've reduced the opacity to about 50% to let a little bit of the original color come through. Next, we have our color bar. You can see that we selected a nice purple fill for that, and we've applied a drop shadow to it. If I double click on that, you can see the settings we used for the drop shadow. Finally, well, not finally, next we had our cutout. We had done that in the other layer, or the other file, this one over here. And once we put it in and got it in the right position, we applied an outer glow to it, and we can take a look at those settings as well, right? Finally, we added some type to it, and we're able to scale it up and down using either the properties or by scaling it with our transform, edit, transform, scale, to get it to be roughly the right size. And then we adjusted the color of the type by selecting it. In fact, we can do that again. Selecting it, going to our properties, and eyedropping a color to use as our fill for the text. So that's it. So when you're graded on your composite um, illustration assignment, I'm going to be judging mostly based on your layer menu and how it's structured. So pay close attention to that. That's it. So good luck on your tests. Talk to you soon.